we've known each other long enough now. I can't lie. I can't I can't come on here and lie. I can't continue the facade. I got to be honest. I got to be upfront. It's a slow news day. I mean, there's no getting around it. It's a slow news day. There's one pretty big item, but then the rest, there's just not much going on. So, in the words of the great Chief Dan George and the outlaw Josie Wales, I shall endeavor to persevere. Thank you for endeavoring to persevere alongside with me. Big news item. I mean, you probably can't avoid this. Historical, but also anticlimactic. The Beatles have a new song, and this is being called the Beatles' last song. So this is the last we will hear from the biggest band ever, most influential band ever, the Beatles. I mean, whether you like the Beatles or not, I myself am a Beatles fan. My favorite album, two favorite albums, Rubber Soul and Revolver. Probably my favorite albums of the Beatles. But they're brilliant. I get that. Iconic, all of that stuff. All the accolades that we throw on them, they're probably accurate. I make people mad when I tell them that I wasn't a fan of John Lennon's solo stuff. I think of the solo Beatles stuff, Paul was by far the best one. But there's a new Beatles song out. It's called Then and Now. So let's go back a little bit. Way back in like 94, 95, they released the Beatles anthology, which was like, and I have them. I got them at the time. I don't want to quite call it a box set. It's two multi-disc packages, Anthology 1, Anthology 2. Anthology 1, obviously the earlier stuff, Anthology 2, the later stuff. So a lot of alternate versions of songs that we know, and it was kind of cool. And at that time, remember, George was still alive. So they all got together with the help of Jeff Lynne from ELO fame. He got them together, and they, using demo tapes that Yoko had given the guys, they hobbled together, and I will say hobbled together, two songs, Free as a Bird and Real Love, both kind of mid-tempo, dirgy. And again, John Lennon was not a writer of hooks like Paul McCartney was. So the source material was kind of a challenge. So we get Free as a Bird, we get Real Love. And to be honest, if they weren't the Beatles, no one would have cared. They weren't great songs. Okay, I'm just sorry. I don't mean to offend anyone. They just were not that good. Weren't that good. And it sounded like ELO records when it was all done, right? Nothing wrong with that. I'm a big fan of ELO, big fan of Jeff Lynne, but these sounded more like ELO than the Beatles to me. It is what it is. Well, at that time, there were three songs they worked on. One of them, George Harrison said was effing rubbish. And they decided that, well, we wouldn't release it. Well, guess which song they're releasing now? It's the song, and it's, I don't know, if George was still alive, would they be releasing it? Because he did not like it. He thought it was crapola. But anyways, that's the song they've released today. And from a historical standpoint, it's great. Is it a bad song? It's not a bad song, but it sounds like what it is, right? It's cobbling stuff together from a demo that obviously John didn't release for whatever reason, but that's all we got. So they put this together, and it sounds like a Jeff Lynne ELO song. So there you go. John Lennon doing the lead vocal. Paul McCartney plays a slide solo. George Harrison is doing the acoustic guitar, but I'm assuming Ringo's doing something on it. but it was Paul and Ringo and Jeff Lynne that kind of have put this all together. But Now and Then is now streaming. You can check it out. And there you go. And look at this. My partner, J.R. Stanton, chiming in. J.R., I won't hold back. You know me. J.R. has to hold me back for my own protection. But J.R., thank you, sir. Thank you for having my back, by the way. I appreciate it. Because I'm sure the slings and arrows will come after what I've said about the Beatles. But I just got to say, I love Paul McCartney. I think the Beatles are awesome. But as a song, this is not a great song. But the historical aspect of it, obviously, it's the Beatles' last song. So I guess you got to at least listen to it. Check it out. That concludes the news portion, because there's really not much else going on today. So hopefully something in the classic rock world breaks open in the next 24 hours. So I'll have something else to talk about. But I am just feeling feisty today. My friend Will checking in. Again, remember, Will is not allowed to say anything because he has incriminating information. So he can say hi, but that's about it, Will. Thank you, though. Thank you for checking in. Here's the other thing that I want to talk about. And I have intentionally not talked about it because it makes me angry. Makes me angry. You've probably seen headlines. You've probably seen things on social media about the Rolling Stone top 50 guitarists of all time. Now, if you want to have it depends on your wiring, right? You'll either read this top 250 list and you'll just laugh hysterically because it's so stupid, or it'll just make you mad that it's so stupid. So depending on how, and your alcohol intake might have something to do. I don't know. I hesitate to even talk about it because I don't want to get, okay, now Will, okay, flattery will get you nowhere. You're still not allowed to say anything on here. Okay. Just want to throw that out. All right. Thanks, Will. But here's the thing, Will, and everyone else. I'm better than some of the people on that list, and I ain't good. What does that tell you about the list? And there are just so many glaring omissions from this list. I do have to say one thing. They had Randy Rhoads in the top 25, which I'm a huge Randy Rhoads fan. I was okay with that. But here's the deal with Rolling Stone. Here's what they are about. Okay. It's been said by someone, I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was just me. Someone said at one point that those who can make music, and those that can't become music critics. Okay. So they sit on the side. They weren't talented enough to make music. So instead they sit on the sidelines and they chirp about people that do have the guts to put themselves out there and make music. So that's kind of what you got going on at Rolling Stone. Plus you add to that the fact that these guys want to be perceived as the smartest guys in the room, even though clearly they're jerk nozzles. Okay. Because all you got to do is look at their 250 list. They're jerk nozzles. And okay, so let me cut them some slack because they probably just are doing it for clicks. I mean, because I can't believe they really believe this list. I mean, it's all subjective. It's subjective. But when you see Neil Schon, for instance, is Neil Schon a top 25 guitar player? Probably not, but the dude is good. And guess what? He's not on the list. And Maybelle Carter is. Okay. I haven't even looked. Joan Jett's probably on the list. Remember all the hoopla about the media was castigating Ted Nugent because he thought it was silly that Joan Jett was ranked higher than him. Okay. Well, the problem is that someone else should have said it. Ted said it, but it doesn't change the fact that Ted was absolutely right. Joan Jett, love her to death, has no business being on any kind of guitar list. Okay. and I don't know if they're on the list, but I would not be surprised if like Green Day is on the dude, whatever his name is on the list for a great guitar player. They probably have Springsteen on the list of great guitar. Nothing against Springsteen. Again, he ain't a great guitar player. I've got to go take my blood pressure medicine. I knew I shouldn't have started talking about it. So here's all I'm saying. Go buy Rolling Stone. Okay. Read the list. Then use it for toilet paper. Okay. And then that's great. So just want to throw that out there, but it's a joke. Okay. Rolling Stone is always a joke, and they're as dumb as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I feel so angry today, and I didn't mean to feel angry. So let's talk about, I have an album. Remember yesterday I said I was going to share an album of the day, and I'm glad that my friend Will is watching, because Will, I think, might be the person that turned me on to this. What are the odds of that, Will? Do you remember this? This is an album called Streets First. That implies that there were going to be more albums. I think there was a second album, actually. This came out in 1983. Streets features, can you tell who that is? That is the ubiquitous Steve Walsh from Kansas. So he left Kansas. Remember, Play the Game? They brought Elefante in, and Elefante is great too. Well, Steve Walsh left to do this Streets project. If love should go, I want to be the last to know. Okay, it wasn't a big hit or anything, but this is a really catchy album. The guitar playing's great. It sounds dated. I mean, it sounds like 1983, but that's why I like it, because I like 1983. But this is a good album. Streets, check it out. I think you can stream it. I think you can find CDs on Amazon or whatever, or you just do like I do and go to your local used record store and pick it up. That's my album for the day. Steve Walsh, incredibly talented, great singer, great keyboardist, very underrated in my opinion. He was great. So go check out that Streets album. We'll have another fun album tomorrow. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And as I always mention, for just $1 a month, you can subscribe to the Classic Guitar Rock podcast right here on X, formerly Twitter. If you're joining us on YouTube or Facebook, thanks for joining, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Live long and prosper.